Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. So I'm actually going to start with Sagittarius today for the fire sign readings. The plan is that I'm doing who are you connected with in the astral realm. So who do you have a psychic connection with, a soulmate bond? It doesn't necessarily mean like your soulmate, like the one and only, even though it could be. When I say soulmate, it means like somebody that you have an energetic connection with that's in your life to provide support or to challenge you and to help you grow. So you could actually have a bit of a love-hate relationship with this person, and it could even be somebody that you don't yet know, but you're connected with like in the dream space or energetically. We'll find out when I start to pull cards. Now it may or may not be your reading. If it doesn't fit, don't force it to fit. I'm going to read as though this person's you and this person is your person that you're connected with, or a group possibly that you're connected with, but flip it and reverse it if needs be. Don't worry about gender on the cards and all that business. Also, if you wouldn't mind subscribing, if you haven't yet already done so, and thank you so much to everybody who's been subscribing this week, I see you. It would really help me to get to 500 subscribers, just so I can unlock community tools so that I can make posts, for example, to let you know when the next reading is going to be up, or if a reading is going to be delayed, or if I'm having any problems, and also to run polls so that you can give anonymous feedback. Finally, I got the word that I was trying to think of, anonymous. So you could get anonymous feedback and, you know, let me know what you want to see more of on the channel, or, you know, what you dislike through those community features. So yeah, if you haven't subscribed and you wouldn't mind doing so, thank you very much if you do. And yeah, I'm waffling, so I'm just going to kind of get on with it. So I'm going to get you a song. It is going to be a slightly spooky themed reading. It is going to be slightly entertainment purposes only. And remember, if anything scary comes out, it's not like on the 3D reality. It's kind of talking about like dreams or fantasy or like 5D energetic realms, right? So don't get too freaked out if it is something a bit spooky. It's kind of listen, it's Scorpio season. It's Halloween soon. Spooky's the vibe. Oh, you've got Raw by Katy Perry. Your song's Raw. So I used to bite my tongue and hold my breath, scared to rock the boat and make a mess. So I sat quietly, agreed politely. I guess I forgot that I had a choice. I let you push me past the breaking point. I stood for nothing, so I fell for everything. You held me down, but I got up, already brushing off the dust. You hear my voice, you hear that sound, like thunder gonna shake the ground. You held me down, yeah. Get ready, because I've had enough. I see it all. I see it now. I've got the eye of the tiger, a fighter, dancing through the fire, because I am the champion and you're going to hear me roar. Louder than a lion. Yeah. I don't want to repeat, so I'm just skipping a little bit. Now I'm floating like a butterfly, stinging like a bee. I earned my stripes. That keeps coming out. This thing about I earned my stripes. So a couple of the different readings, I can't remember specifically which ones, but people were, this card that says this person's earned their stripes keeps coming out. And someone else had like the tiger here as well. Right. Stinging like a bee, I earned my stripes. I went from zero to my own hero. You held me down, but I got up. Yeah, so it repeats. I'm just checking if there's anything else. No, it just repeats from there. So Raw by Katy Perry. You're going to hear me roar. And Prison, which makes me think of like the soul, right? I just watched a video by Cinema Therapy about Cruella, the Cruella film, and how she's almost got two personalities. And I've been getting this thing through about, she's not got split personality disorder, because they talk about it in the video that she actively chooses one persona over the other. And when you have a dissociative identity disorder, you don't have any control over which persona is showing. So in this case, in Cruella's case, or perhaps even in your reading, it's a conscious choice to choose a certain persona, which means it's not dissociative identity disorder. It's almost like having an alter ego, right? Having two characters, two versions of yourself, which I think to an extent we all do, right? We all have maybe like the polite face, because she talks about sitting politely. We all have like the polite face that we show to like teachers, or, you know, if we're being polite around older family members and this kind of thing. And then we might have like the wild child side that comes out with friends on a night out, or like, you know, through perhaps performance on stage and all these kinds of things. Somebody else, I think it was Libra, got about bad guy. I'm the bad guy, right? Talking about playing the bad guy. So playing the villain. So that's quite interesting. So why would you need to do that? If this is you, why would that part of yourself be itching to come out? I think because, you know, if we're talking about persona and the anima or animus, which is a Freudian, not Freud, Carl Jung, like a Jungian concept that we have, the person that we show to the world and then the person that we hide, right? The version of ourselves that's kind of a little bit, oh, this isn't what people want from me. This isn't socially acceptable. So I'm going to hide this part of myself. So why is that anima or animus trying to come out? I've also had this thing as well about, so I feel like it's for you because I'm already kind of talking about it. I've had this thing as well about like a persona dying. So it's not a physical death of a person, it's a version of yourself that is no longer necessary or no longer needed or no longer wanted. So it was coming through like as if, for example, you know how people talk about dead names. So if somebody's transgender, right, it's like you know, that name, that old person that person perhaps grew up as, but it no longer fit them. You know, there's a metaphorical death of the old version of the self as the new version of the self is embraced. So it could be something like that for you as well. I think if it's telling me it's Mariah Carey, I don't know her, right? I don't know her. So it's like almost like meeting somebody that you used to know. Perhaps meeting somebody that you used to know. Sorry, this is all coming through intuitively. I will pull cards in a second. Meeting somebody who you used to know, who knew you as a past version of yourself, and you're not like that anymore. It's like that person's dead to me. I don't know. Talking about yourself, right? I don't know that person. I don't know that version of me anymore. I've grown. I'm different. I'm changed. It's almost like having undergone some kind of butterfly process, you know, where you've become a more authentic version of yourself, where you're more comfortable with who you are and expressing that in the world. And it's like somebody's almost trying to put you back into the box, or, you know, make you be the old version of yourself, or like, I don't know. Right, let's just pull cards. So, or you're in the process because you're going to hear me roar, right? It's undergoing the process of letting the butterfly come out. It's telling me moth, which is interesting. We'll see if either the moth or butterfly actually does come out for you. Okay, moth is intuition. It's like a more hidden version of the butterfly. Who is Sagittarius? The world. Somebody had that. I feel like it was Virgo. Virgo was connecting with this person, right? So it's Lilo Dallas, does she take his name out of the Fifth Element, right? Multipass, my heart's racing. So maybe you know somebody, like maybe you've got red hair. I don't know why I'm saying know somebody. I think because it came out over here for Virgo's reading, so it's almost like flipping the energy now. Yeah, Sagittarius. The world is a Sagittarius card for me. Also a little bit Capricorn, because it talks about completion of cycles. Again, it's like I'm not this version of myself anymore, because the world is completion, right? It's like this part of me, I've gone as far as I can go with this version of myself. I need to recreate myself. I need to take everything I've learned and incorporate it into the new self, because she's literally, this is the thing as well, she's literally just being born, isn't she? At the start of that movie, she's like an adult, she's like an alien adult, and she's got these bandages on because it's like she's just been like birthed. Like that's the visual storytelling of that costume. Maybe somebody's a costume designer as well. Just thinking again about Cruella. So a new version of yourself being birthed into the world. It's almost like she's just coming down into the world as well. And of course, as well, at the end of the movie, she learns everything there is to learn about the world, right? She looks and there's like all war and things like that, and she's like, oh, this place is awful. And then she learns about the final part of herself, which is like love, you know? So, you know, and the good things that are in the world. You know, obviously she's the fifth element. There's 4 elements here. She's the fifth element. So you're the fifth element. You are the embodiment of love, right? It also does talk about global travel, the World Wide Web. Maybe you connect with somebody on the World Wide Web as well as kind of like the astral web, right? They're telling me hyperlink. Is that a train? Is that an internet thing or is that a train hyperlink? I don't actually know. Okay. You've got interesting energy that is absolutely appropriate for Sagittarius, because again, that's a Sagittarius card for me, especially in terms of adventure, right? The world meaning you're traveling the world. So, oh, look at that as well. King of Wands, absolutely. Look at this for a partnership. Like, they are absolutely exploring the entire world, right? Like, finding out all there is to know, all the hidden secrets. And they end up in like a at the end of this film, they end up in like a dusty tomb, don't they? It's like a sandy tomb, you know, where they've got all the pillars with the elements on. So perhaps, and he has a similar character, doesn't he? Like the action hero, Indiana Jones and Dallas, or is it Corbin Dallas, right? Like they have that kind of like scoundrel persona, I guess. I don't know. Right. So maybe if this is like somebody that you're dreaming about, maybe you're dreaming about, you know, raiding tombs with them, or like, you know, exploring jungles. I'm thinking of like Tomb Raider as well. Okay. So who are you connecting with? Who are you psychically connected with? Who are you connected with on the astral realm? Oh, interesting. And the Queen of Wands there as well. So the King of Wands and the Queen of Wands, I feel like this could definitely be, if it's not a sexual connection, it's a passionate connection in some sort of way. But this person could be a Libra. This person is cool as a cucumber. This person's strategic. They are, it's coming through a little bit manipulative, because the clever could also be Gemini. They're a planner. Could be somebody who's literally some sort of lawyer, or a like what are they called? Like a DOA, is it? Department of no. What's it called? Like the person who, right, I don't know. I think it's an American thing, but when people are building a case file and they have to, district attorney, is that what it's called? And they have to like present a case file to this person, and this person's like, I'll go through it and I'll check it against the legal framework. I'll see if this is something that can stand up in court, because we don't want to take it to court too soon and then have it like waste funds. So the district attorney has that kind of like middleman important job of like, do we go forward with this prosecution? Do we take this to court, or do we send it back and tell them to get more evidence? You know, it has that kind of feel to it. Quite clinical. Again, that Cruella film, she's looking to get revenge, isn't she? Just with Kill Bill there. Noticing the yellow, it's kind of got this yellow and blue icy look to it. Okay. Yeah, there could definitely be like a judge, somebody to do with the legal system. I'm getting the word framework a lot this week. But they're not afraid to cut people out or cut people off. This person, it's, if you're, they've got very strong boundaries. They can be very, very ice queen. They can be very cool. They can be very aloof. They can be very stoic and logical, rather than like heartfelt and emotional. They're not showing as emotional at all. Absolutely. Like cool, calm, collected, intelligent, strategic, and judgment as well. Judgment is a card about death and rebirth, and the rebirth is I can't remember her name. Has she even got a name? Is she called the bride in that movie? The bride here is taking the place of Archangel Gabriel. Gabriel being an angel associated with the throat chakra and communication. And it's normally Archangel Gabriel on this card would be, he's calling people up. So it's like he's literally calling people out of the grave, but he's calling people to their true calling. So this person seems to be calling you to reinvent yourself or to go after your true calling. They're sort of saying they're the person saying the old version of yourself is dead. This is an opportunity for you to reinvent yourself in a way that allows you to seek what you feel destined to seek. So it's actually doing you some good. It's almost like that sword. It seems like the sword is almost cutting the energetic umbilical cord from you and an old version of yourself, right? It's like they are separating you from, it's like almost like they're separating you from Mother Earth in a way, is the way it's coming through. So that you can be independent, so that you can be free. It's almost making me think as well of, like, you know, when people divorce the parents. It could be somebody helping you, like a lawyer who's helping you, you know, with the like paperwork side, if you like changing your name, changing your identity, maybe it's like witness protection or something. So there's been some odd stuff coming up this week. Okay. I've been getting stuff up as well about IDs, you know, like not necessarily fake IDs, but not even identity theft, like getting a new passport, getting a new driver's license. I'm getting some mad stories, like this set of readings, like there's been some, it's the fun to do. I've been getting some really interesting stories through. It's not mundane. Morning, the world awaits you. The world awaits you. So it's like you're coming into land, right? It's like you're coming into land and like, it's almost like breathing for the first time, waking up for the first time in this new identity is the way it's coming through. So it doesn't mean you have to literally change your identity, but it's like waking up thinking, do you know what? I'm going to do things differently now. I've learned my lessons from that past situation and I'm ready for a new adventure. I'm ready to kind of like look at my life as like glass half full, you know? There's like room to improve this situation. You know, life is an adventure and I'm willing to explore. So what do we have for like the Queen? I'm very tired, by the way. If you can tell in my voice, I may be a little bit more monotone than usual. I'm very, very tired. Did not sleep well last night. Queen of Swords and Judgment. Which was funny because I was so tired yesterday. You know when you're so tired and I was at work and I was like, I could just literally, like that, I don't know if you've seen that gif of the little girl lying down on the beach and she's like, I could sleep right here. I'll take a nap right here. That's what she says. That's what I was like. Every time I kind of like, just kind of like put my head down on my hands or like, you know, like, or leant against something, I thought I could literally, if I took 5 deep breaths, I would be asleep standing up. And then I got home and I got into bed and I was like, why can't I sleep? Why can't I sleep? Queen of Swords and Judgment. Oh, something tried to come out and then it didn't. So I feel like this person is, it's like they almost say something and then they don't, right? They're very considered. This isn't the sort of person who just blurts things out. They're the sort of person who's like weighing up what they're going to say or weighing up what they're going to do. I've got this sense of like, I want to do it right. Flower, be honest with yourself. There she is. Knew this card was going to come out. Evil Queen, you deserve sugar, not salt. Flower, be honest with yourself. Is this what this person's telling you? Be honest with yourself. Because this energy with the 2 swords, and it being both these cards can be Libra for me. This is Libra, any air sign, Libra, Libra Scorpio. Like it's almost like a cusp card. But very, very, very honest. Very matter of fact. Like with the Ice Queen energy of the Queen of Swords, she can be brutally honest. She will tell it to your face, right? But is she being honest with herself? I'm saying she, it doesn't have to be she. And then with Evil Queen, you deserve sugar, not salt. So this person could be quite salty, again, in the way that they communicate. they're not a lovey-dovey person at all, right? But life has probably trained them to be that way. You know, we are who we are because we're taught to survive, right? And if we're taught to survive by being brutal, then we're taught to survive by being brutal. But the brilliant thing as well about that Cruella, it just really gives it me with this card. They're talking to the evil queen, right? You deserve sugar, not salt. So again, it could be somebody who, because of their honesty or because of their... It's almost like, oh, they're giving me Mother Knows Best, you know, Mother Gothel from Tangled. But it's not that. It's like got all the yellow flowers as well. Just in case this applies as well, maybe it's like, sorry, it's just the colours are talking to me now. Because this is very Ice Queen. So one thing that I was getting, sorry, I'm getting about three things at once. One thing that I was getting was that the Cruella film itself is part of a genre of a reinvention of Disney villains, or a rethinking of the Disney villains. Sort of like Maleficent. It's like, well, why are they like that? Why are they the villain? Like, how was this persona created? You know, what's their history? What's their story? Are they really as bad as the original movies made us think they are? So it could be as well, like, again, with this kind of analysis energy. She's almost like a psychiatrist or something. She is a writer, isn't she, in that film? But it's like, because it's the analysis aspect that I'm paying attention to it now. It's like, almost like the Socratic questioning of why do we think something's evil? Why do we think something is, you know, why do we think one person's good and one person's bad? Could it be that there's a place for everything and everyone? It's just, you know, finding the right setting, because people have different personalities. People respond to different approaches in different environments. So you may have a certain work environment where it's, for example, like this King and Queen of Swords can be doctors, right? Surgeons. So it wouldn't make sense in a emergency room to be the Queen of Cups, because the Queen of Cups is emotion. And if you're in an emergency situation where it's like, okay, we have to save this person's life, you need to be clinical, right? You need to have that kind of matter of fact, almost, you know, cool, calm, collected thinking of like, this person's going to die if I sit here crying about it. So I'm not going to sit here crying about it. I'm going to operate on them and save the life, because I have that information of knowing how to do it and what to do in an emergency. It's almost like somebody who's, you know, horrible, you know, like imagine your mum was a doctor, right? And they're a heart surgeon or something like that. They've got that clinical edge. To see them in, I feel like Libra did actually have this in the last set of readings, like to see them in the workplace, like to see them in the emergency room, saving someone's life and absolutely being like, I know what to do in this situation. You know, I'm in charge. Do as I say. You know, she's not going to ask politely, is she? She's going to go scalpel, because she needs the scalpel. She's not going to say, oh, if you have time and you wouldn't mind and it wouldn't hurt your feelings, could you please pass me the scalpel just when you're ready, you know, no rush. She's not going to be all nicey. She's going to be like, give me the damn scalpel, I need it. You know, time is of the essence. So it's talking about a personality fitting in the right environment. But at home, if this one's like salt, you know, pass me the salt, you know, not even, it could be like that. It could be somebody who, the perfect in the right environment, but in a different environment, they could be seen as not nice, you know, but you need different people in different environments, right? Different people come into their own in different situations, but be honest with yourself. Seems to be honest with yourself that you do deserve sugar. You know, that this person does need love and support and warm connections, you know. Just really getting something with like the crystals as well. Katy Perry's, was it Katy Perry's rule? Let me just have a quick look. Yeah, Prism. It jumped out at me, Prism. This could definitely be Libra, because I get, say Libra's like this, right? You can, like a piece of ice, right? They've got lots of facets. They can show different facets depending on the situation. You know, they're adaptive, but you can see right through them, right? They're not hiding anything. You know, just because they're showing one facet in one situation doesn't mean that they're being manipulative or hiding. And then sugar and salt are both crystals. So there's definitely something really strong Libra vibes. Let me just read that Evil Queen. And I'm going to try and move on because I don't want these readings to be too long. But someone in your life is mistreating you. You're trying to see the good in them, but they just keep disappointing you again and again. The truth is, some people don't deserve second chances. Second chance. As difficult as it may be, this is your sign that you need to cut them loose, talking about cutting the umbilical cord. Unfollow them and block their number. It's time to move on. Do whatever it takes to find some inner peace, for it's just as precious as gold. Maybe somebody's asking you for a second chance and you're like, do you know what? End of the cycle. I am done here. And then waking up in the morning after cutting them out and being like, do you know what? I feel great. I'm a Libra. Like, my oldest child is a Sagittarius, and I'm like, I need to go and give them a hug and tell them I love them, because maybe I've been a bit too ice queen with this person. I can be very ice queen, because again, I'm like, do you know what? This situation needs practicality, but situations do also need... It's almost like a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. I'm kind of getting that. Okay, what do we have on this side, please? Tell me about Sagittarius. Sea serpent. Again, this kind of like cutting the cord almost. It reminds me of like an egg with sperm. And then the dragon's protective. So again, you could have like a protective mother or something like this. I don't know if you're pushing at the boundaries a little bit. Like, it's going through like the sea serpent is almost like the container is the way I'm seeing it. And you're almost like fighting against the boundaries of this container. And because you're growing, right, because you're literally showing us, you're literally almost being shown as a baby in a womb. It's like you're growing too big for that space. So as a baby would grow too big for a space, you know, the mother has to give birth. The swords would indicate cesarean if anyone's giving birth. I don't want to kind of scare anyone. Or medical intervention, you know, the importance of that. Just kind of saying what I'm getting here. Sorry, I don't mean to make anyone panic. I was really scared of having a cesarean when I was pregnant. But it's like, just as the baby outgrows the mother's womb, you know, we outgrow spaces sometimes. We have to have, it's like, because it's the world, it's like you've learned everything you can in that environment, and it's struggling to contain you, right? It's struggling to, it's like if you keep pushing against the edges of something, it's like there's a gap forming because it can't quite circle it anymore. Does that make any sense? Am I explaining that well enough? Let me just get a piece of... Luckily, I've got wool next to me. Hold on. Have I got wool next to me? It's not really... right. So it's like... So I've actually got... It's actually in use, but it's like, imagine that this was the end of the wool, right? And it's like, it's been containing something like this, and then as the thing inside it gets bigger, it can't quite, the ends can't quite meet anymore. That's kind of how I'm seeing it. So you've outgrown the space. Tell me about this, please. Tell me about this. Tell me about this, please. Yeah, this person, they are, it could be somebody who's Libra, Scorpio cusp. They've definitely got a sting in the tail. They've got a huge backbone. They really know who they are, and they are comfortable with who they are. But they have got a sting, I want to say, to the words. Stingrays can like fly under the radar. And again, this idea of like observation and court processes and things like that. A stingray is something that prosecution or spy agencies use to tap into people's phones in a neighborhood, in an area. It was quite a controversial device. So Crocodile. Crocodile lies in wait. The crocodile waits for the perfect opportunity. Again, this person's a strategist. Again, they have that kind of cold-blooded energy. They're not showing as bad so much as ruthless, perhaps. I don't know. Very, it rattles me a little bit because I'm a Libra and I think of myself as actually, yes, I can be very cool, calm and collected. I do have that kind of stoic part of myself, but I do think, you know, I can be very, very loving as well. It's just, I think with a lot of Libras, it's a case of you want to be loving, you want to be supportive, you want to be kind, but if you're hurt, very much like Scorpio, right? Very, very similar to Scorpio. That's why I'm picking up Libra, Scorpio cusp. Like Libra, if a Libra's hurt, if a Libra finally has enough, you know, because Libra gives and gives and gives and gives and gives. And eventually, if they think, do you know what, I'm done with this, you know, I'm being taken for granted, they can go ice cream very, very quickly. It's like as soon as that sword drops, the love is rescinded, right? And it's the same with Scorpio, incredibly loving, incredibly very protective, you know, and, you know, they want to keep their loved ones close and they're very defensive of them. But if somebody hurts them, they go into revenge mode, right? Revenge mode. So it has that feeling of somebody who's tipped into revenge mode, ice cream revenge mode. I don't know if it's two different people. You know, like you saw one persona and now the other persona is coming out. But it does feel like an ending. I don't know. Again, I don't know if this person's helping you with an ending or it's between you. Let's see. Okay, what's going on between these two energies? Haunted house. Mummy. Okay, yeah, mother. It's your mum. I've got to go and have a conversation with my child. Haunted house. If you live with this person, it's not a good setting, right? You could be haunted by your memories of your childhood home. It's got that, you know, something's rotten in the state of Denmark, or, you know, energy of, you know, like the home, which should be loving and cozy and warm and supportive, being quite a cold clinical environment that, you know, you're not feeling nurtured in. It's kind of a little bit like what I was saying about the ghost ship, you know, like it's like the past, haunted by a living situation from the past, perhaps. Okay, I need to take I've got a big fleece on, I just need to take it off and put something else on because I'm getting really warm. I think, like, if, like me, you're identifying with this side a little bit here, it's like, remember to tell your kids you love them. Remember to tell your kids that you're, like, proud of them. And I just went to my kids, I was like, love you. You don't want to be like Mother Gothel, right? It's funny, I used to sing that to my daughter. It used to really freak her out when she was about 2 or 3. She'd be like, are you my mum? And that's the thing as well in Cruella. She finds out, you know, I've never actually seen the film, it was just watching cinema therapy. You know, she finds out her who she thought was a mum wasn't a mum. And she, you know, her actual mother was that kind of like very cold type of person. Okay, I've got 4 decks of cards. I'm going to shuffle them all. I'm going to get all the cards out and then I'm going to reshuffle and we'll kind of get the story and we'll interpret them. So just bear with me while I get all your cards out. 4 of Wands came out and went away. That could actually just be indicating your home environment or the place where you live or a work environment. It's like something with 4 walls, right? Cinderella. Why is it giving me like fairy tale energy? You know, Cinderella, you will go to the ball. You will have that reinvention, right? She has that transformation. She has that transformation. Sorry, just talking about this while it's here. Where she has outgrown that environment, right? She's ready for more. She's helped by like the fairy godmother who gives her this makeover, this reinvention, where she's like shown her potential, right, of what she could be, of the life she could live in, of the circles she could move in. And then after that night, she's never the same again, is she? Because it's like she's experienced something beyond her castle walls, beyond her haunted house. She's experienced life outside that closed environment. So it's like she can't go. It's almost like trying to put champagne back in a bottle and put the cork back in. It's like that energy's been released, right? Like that's showing me like a champagne bottle now. It's like once that energy is released from that space, it can no longer be confined and controlled. It's grown out of it, which is really what the world card's saying there as well. Yeah, there's an independence here as well. Look at the Ice Queen. I almost feel like Cruella, right? Like Estella turning into Cruella. I almost want to say this is you, and this is kind of like this is you cutting the cord yourself, right? And if you need to be seen as the bad guy, or you need to be the Ice Queen to do it, then so be it. But you have to have that transformation between the old version of yourself that was contained and the new version of yourself that has been released. The Star card, yeah. Lots of stuff here about dreams, wishes, and control. And this is the moment, right? This is the moment of cutting the cord. Like, because the Knight of Swords is normally taking action, but this is, to me, like the pause before taking action. I do want to say be very careful. If you look into, like, especially like history, entertainment industries and things like that, anyone who's trying to take children away from the parents and promising them this, you know, your life's going to be so much better if you get out of your parents' control. There is a danger with that, so just be careful of that, I want to say. There's the Empress, again, with the mother energy. They're giving me Trouble by Elvis. No, they're not. Is it? No. I'm trouble. What's that? Pink? I'm trouble. I'm trouble. Got the Chariot twice there. Chariot. It's the Lover's card, but it's the Lover's going into the Chariot and it's landed on the Chariot. So there could be something about, like, I'm gonna say what I'm getting. I'm getting like car woohoo. Could be something about having a good time in a car. Okay. Okay, what do we have, please? What's the story? What's the energy between these two? What is the energy between Mother, right? Mother, Empress. But also becoming the best version of yourself that you can be here on Earth. The Empress card is all 4 Queens of the Tarot. So she's really mastered. She's not only the Queen of Swords, she's also the Queen of Wands, and we saw that up there, right? She's the Queen of Swords, she's the Queen of Wands, she's the Queen of Pentacles, and she's the Queen of Cups. So she really embodies all of these queens, and she can utilize whichever part is needed at that time. So if the Empress needs to put up the barriers, if she needs to go Ice Queen, she will do. You know, it's almost like, don't darken my door again, get out of my court, right? So, and she is showing us like having a hand on her stomach and potentially being pregnant here. So again, pregnancy could be a thing for some of you. Also this thing about bed, right? She's like waking up in the morning. It's like waking up and being like, I'm pregnant, I'm going to be a mother, you know, and then exploring the relationship you have with your own mother, perhaps. Not for all of you. Because when you become a mother, for a lot of people, it can be a huge life-changing moment. It's this knowledge that I'm not the same person that I was yesterday. You know, I am going to be responsible for a new life. I'm going to be, you know, I'm no longer the maiden. I'm now the mother. You know, this is a new stage in my life. And it can have a profound impact on people. Some people can really struggle to deal with it. You know, some people can, you know, there are different types of mothers. There are the mother who's like, you know, I've read all the books and this is how to be a good parent. I'm going to do it in a strategic way. And there's people who like, it comes naturally to like show that love. There's people who like, they just never grapple with the idea of being a mother. And again, it could be something, if this is like something about changing your gender, there could be something in there for you with that. The 5 of Cups into the 6 of Cups. So going from a situation where I'm just noticing this broken cup as well, and he's helping to piece it back together. There could be a situation where you experience feelings of loss and grief and disappointment and failure, and all those kind of emotions that come along when something doesn't work out. But going into the Six of Cups, and now the Six of Cups is soulmate energy. It is connections with other people that are close to us, and it can also indicate children and siblings. So take that as you will. Maybe you've got one child, you've been trying to have a second child, so that this child could have a sibling. The Chariot's flipped, but it didn't come out. What next, please? What next? What next, please? The energy between... Did something come out? There it is. I have my eyes closed. It is the Chariot. It's the Chariot in reverse. So if it's in reverse, it could be a sense of not having control over a separation. A sense of being out of control, a sense of your life kind of careening, your life kind of like barreling along with no purpose or control, and everything's out of your hands and it feels kind of chaotic. It's almost like not having the brakes. Your car's moving but you don't have the brakes and the steering wheel's locked. It's like maybe like another analogy would be like you're in an electronic car with like the auto drive, and it's like it doesn't matter what you do, the car's going to take you where it's going to go. So this sense of being out of control. In the upright, it's a card about being in control, about bringing your own light and shadow, right? Your own two sides of the table, or your own light and dark together, and having control over those. So again, it could be a sense of feeling like, one of your personas has kind of like rolled away, like it's gotten out of hand. This is Cancerian energy as well. So we do have Libra again starting this. Libra, also Taurus, Cancer. And Cancer is very, very emotional. Cancer in the reverse is over emotional and out of control. It's like my feelings are overwhelming. I can't. Maybe it is your feelings being overwhelming. Somebody perhaps who would normally be clinical, but something happens that is really upsetting to them, really disappointing, really kind of like impacts them emotionally, and they are emotionally out of control, right? It's like, I'm not used to feeling like this. I don't know what to do with these emotions. They're overwhelming. I feel out of control of myself, right? So it could be something like that, especially with this, like the cork out of the bottle kind of thing. It's like there's no putting it back. There's no putting it back once it's out. So it's like if you've said something, perhaps. The Five of Cups again, yeah. The Five of Cups again, so this disappointment. So you could be saying, oh God, please don't say, I hope nobody's saying they're disappointed in the child. That'd be awful. I mean, maybe I'm disappointed. There's a different way of saying things, right? You don't want to say, I'm disappointed with you. I'm disappointed with who you are as a person. That's a really harsh thing for a parent to say, because it's a rejection of the child. You can say, I'm really disappointed with how you acted in that moment, and then it's not saying I'm disappointed in you as a human, as a person, in your personality. I'm disappointed with the choice you made in that specific moment, and that's saying, you can make different choices in the future. I hope if another situation like this happened again, you'd choose differently, because I think more highly of you. I think you're better than that. So it's language and words are really, really important in parenting. I'm getting a lot of parenting this week. But it's almost the sun card with the sunflowers. So it's like, it's almost like I'm seeing like the flowers' heads turning towards the sun. So children especially, or people in general, will move towards things that feel good. So if they, for example, there's a really harsh, cold parent, and then someone else comes along, maybe like even a step parent, or like a mother-in-law, something like that, who's very warm, the child's naturally going to gravitate to what makes them feel good, what makes them feel confident, what makes them feel valued. So I'm getting this kind of the head turning. What else, please? What else, please? The Star, and it's healing. So it's almost like the sun coming in after some kind of disappointment and it being extremely healing. And there is an opportunity here to see the light, to see the warmth, because the sun is also the star, right? Suns are stars, stars are suns. So it's like there could be some success as well. Again, somebody could be going into the spotlight in some sort of way. They were giving me a song, I can't quite pull it in. I want to take you into the spotlight. Follow You by Imagine Dragons. I feel like that came for somebody else as well. I want to move you into the spotlight. So, yeah, the star is an energy of divine healing, of something that is really helping someone come to terms with any feelings of grief, loss, or disappointment. And again, I'm getting this sense of reinvention. So after the grief comes the new life, the fresh lease of life, perhaps. This is Aquarian energy, Aquarius again. So we've got Libra and Aquarius, Queen of Swords into the King of Swords. Now, what's really interesting is this says the Queen of Swords, but we're given this perspective of looking at a male. So again, it could be that this person is a male. It could be a father, not a mother. But this is aggressive and harsh, right? I'm kind of feeling standing up to bullies, standing up to people who draw the boundaries, you know, people who try to keep you in your place by being the queen, because we're the Queen of Swords, right? This card is Queen of Swords. So if this is you thinking, do you know what, I've had enough, I'm putting up the ice front, right? I'm being Elsa in the tower. You know, like there's no love in this situation anymore. I'm gonna have to go cold, you know. I'm gonna have to, it's almost like if you're dealing with people who are ruthless, you have to be equally as ruthless. If you're dealing with people who play games, you also have to play games. So if we're the Queen of Swords in this perspective, and we're looking at this, you know, quite clearly an aggressive character, right? Is he guarding the children? I love these two cards together. I love the way that she's just looking at him. She's got a hand on her sword. She's prepared to use it. But right now, she's just like, what are you doing? You know, it's that kind of like, you know, there's no anger. And that's where the Queen of Swords really comes in, right? That's when, you know, talking about the different situations where you need, you know, in an emergency situation, right? If somebody's hurt, you know, you need the person who's cold and, you know, they just know what to do, right? That kind of autopilot taking over. But it's kind of like the same thing. It's like, I used to work in customer service, and you'd get people sometimes coming in and they were looking for a fight or being very aggressive. You used to get people coming in with what they were calling a fault. It was a very common thing, actually. It was surprisingly common. People coming in with what they claimed to be a fault, but they'd actually damaged the item themselves. So they'd get something like an £80 dress, go and wear it on a night out, rip the seam, and come back in and be like, oh, can I have my money back? Right? And you'd be like, no, because we can actually tell by the way it's ripped that this is a manual rip and not a design flaw. There's a difference in the way it rips. You know, if you want to send it off to quality analysis, you can absolutely contact customer services, but we're not taking this back. And you would be very matter of fact and very clinical and very much like, I've analysed the fault, and, you know, based on my expert knowledge, this is not actually a fault. It's you or somebody else have done it yourself, right? And people don't want to hear that, and they get very, very aggressive, right? And you do have to, the more cool you are, the more neutral your body language is, the more relaxed you are. You know, they've got nowhere to go with that. So I don't know, I just like these two cards together. But anyway, let's see. And sometimes when somebody's not getting what they want, they become increasingly aggressive because they think, because they're used to it, right? Maybe they grew up with a mum who, like, as soon as they had a tantrum, the mum would cave in and give them what they wanted, right? And it's like, that's not who this person is. And this person's not having any of the BS. Page of Wands, yeah, somebody having a temper tantrum. Yeah, somebody doesn't get what they want and they have a temper tantrum. With the Page of Wands. The Page of Wands is, they're impulsive. The young, they're impulsive, or they haven't had much experience in terms of the Wands energy, which is like the fire energy. So eventually you move from the Page of Wands to the Knight of Wands, who's more experimental, who's figuring things out, and then eventually you become the Queen or the King of Wands. Now the Queen of Wands is your card to me in the tarot, and the Queen and King of Wands, they know what to do with that anger, right? They've felt the anger, they feel it just as much as the Page, but they know what to do with it. They turn it into purpose, they turn it into drive, they turn it into motivation. The Page of Wands, they get angry, they don't know what to do with it. They lose control. Chariot in reverse again. So this is actually the Lover's card. Somebody's not choosing the heart in the reverse. Somebody's, again, it could be somebody making a logical choice instead of a heart-based choice. But again, it's got this feeling of out of control. Something that's out of control. Perhaps the fire, the rage is out of control. So somebody goes clinical, they go logical. They don't choose from the heart, they choose from the mind. What's interesting to me, just before I explore this card, you've got the Chariot in reverse. So again, the Chariot is Cancerian energy, it's Queen of Cups energy, and the Queen of Cups in reverse is Queen of Cups in the upright, brilliant, loving, supportive, really understands everybody's emotions in the room. In the reverse, it's somebody who's over emotional, like just too many emotions, and they lose control. Like, it's kind of like drama queen energy, which is not this. So who's losing control here? Because you have got the Empress. The Empress should be all for Queen of Cups in the upright. So she should be able to be perfectly comfortable with her emotions. Bit of a mystery there with that one. You're going to hear me roar. I feel like it could be you. I feel like it could be you. If there's a situation where it's like, it's almost like you lose your temper in some sort of way, right? It's like you roar, I've had enough. But it's like in doing so, you've broke a boundary. I'm not saying that's what should happen, but I'm saying that's what could be happening here. You're going to hear me roar. But again, that's about learning, Sagittarius, depending on how you manage your fire energy, how you manage your water energy. It's all about having experiences that help you understand what things feel like. What does it feel like when you emotionally lose control? What does it feel like when you get all fired up about something? You know, and what if that happened, what did that situation teach you? Okay, there's something to learn from that and incorporate, so that you can move from, if this is you can move from the Page of Wands into the Queen of Wands, which is your natural state. It's understanding what that feels like to be that angry or that frustrated or over emotional, and being like, okay, what do I do with this energy in the future? How do I turn this into something empowering and healthy? Not something that's like out of control, crying and raging and having a toddler-like tantrum on the floor. What is this card? Okay, it feels very Aquarian to me for some reason. Just get the box. And of course, like a counselor, somebody who's like a psychologist, an analysis can help you with this. You know, analysing the situation. You know, what happened there? What could you have done differently? Right, it's the Hermit. Yeah, the Hermit is... That's a really interesting card, because I was thinking about the Hermit with the Lovers. The Hermit, focus all possible attention, energy and concentration on your dream. In this way, you'll be able to encompass its constructive vibration in yours. So again, it's like you've got a lot of energy here. If this is you, you've got a lot of energy. You've got a lot of power. You've got a lot of thrust. Okay, and you've got to be careful not to use that in a way that's destructive, like unnecessarily destructive. And to use it again, I'd really recommend watching that Cinema Therapy Cruella episode, because they talk about how she rides her anger and she turns it into something that's goal focused, and she turns it into motivation. And yeah, she's motivated into destroying something, but I want to say the idea of like, because you've got the star card here, which is like following your dreams, right? So it's like, I want to be the best at that. I want to make my mark in that industry. I want to get what the recognition I deserve here. So if you're turning that, and sometimes it does, sometimes you have to have the meltdown. Sometimes you have to have that moment where you slam the door and you're like, I've had enough of this. And like, you know, I can't contain my emotions around the situation anymore. You have to do that to realize, oh, hang on, I've outgrown this situation. This isn't serving me anymore. So what I was thinking here with this concept of the Lover's card actually meaning choice, and do you make the choice that speaks to your heart, to your soul, or do you make the logical choice? And somebody who hasn't made the heart-based choice. This is followed by the Hermit. Now the Hermit is literally a card about being on your own, taking some deep breaths, going within and searching for that inner guidance, really getting to know who you are on the inside and what suits you, and what, you know, when you strip away everybody else's opinion or perspective or everything else that's going on externally, what do you know inside yourself to be true, right? And really coming to terms with that and being comfortable with who you are on the inside. And then that being a place that you can take action from with the Knight of Swords. It's like you need to be clear about who you are and what you want and what your dreams are and what your heart-based or soul-based choices are before you take action. So take a moment to pray, take a moment to connect with your higher self, whatever you need to do before you, I want to say, have this reinvention where you break. It's like breaking the wheel in some sort of way. I don't know. I don't really understand that term. Reinventing the wheel, but they say you don't need to reinvent the wheel, but that's what I see you doing. That's looking to me like a bike wheel now, and she's holding this wheel. Look, it's like it's a shield, right? But it looks like a wheel. So that's what I was kind of thinking. It's like they say you don't need to reinvent the wheel. But people did reinvent the wheel, right? You had like wooden wheels on like carts, horses and carts. And then, you know, people started to put metal rims on so that they were like more hardware, like they'd last longer. And then we started to make like, you know, inflatable rubber tires and like change the spokes. And then you can put wheel caps on and hubcaps on. And like, you know, wheels have been reinvented. There's probably different trademarks on different types of wheels, right? You can reinvent the wheel. It's like, who told you couldn't, you know? Cinderella shall go to the ball. There's a decision. Yeah, somebody's weighing something up. Do I choose my mind or do I choose my heart? Do I choose to have this growth? Do I choose to go into the new situation, or do I stay in the cold place? So much Libra. Look at this balancing act. And with the mice as well. Cinderella, Cinderella. It's literally where I got my name from. I used to work, I used to give too much of myself in a workplace where I wasn't valued. And my boss would, she was like that. She was like, Cinderella, Cinderella. I mean, she didn't call me Cinderella, but she'd be like, you know, can you do this? Can you do that? Let me add this to your jobs list. Let me add this to your jobs list. And then she'd be like, why haven't you done it? Why is this not all done? And I'd be like, because you've given me too many plates to spin here. I'm juggling too many things and there's only so much time in a day. But I'd be like, I'm going to get it done. I'm going to get it done, you know, and I wouldn't necessarily stand up for myself very well. And so a co-worker and a friend that used to live there would sing the Cinderella song to me. You know, like she was my little mouse friend. She'd be like, Cinderella, Cinderella, night and day, Cinderella, do the dishes, do the laundry, you know, and because that's very much, so that's why I'm called Cinderella, basically, because of that old job. And it taught me something. It taught me not to, it taught me to stick up for myself and to know my worth and to not give too much of myself to a corporation, you know, owned by a very rich man, putting money in his back pocket so he could buy yachts. You know, it's like, I'm not going to break my back and ruin my health and not, you know, and be stressed out for not much more than minimum wage while this person gets rich off the thousands and thousands of pounds that I can evidence that I'm making every single week by the decisions and the actions that I'm taking in this workplace. You know, it's like, shouldn't I be earning those thousands of pounds? So yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm bringing myself into this now. But again, maybe you've been in a situation like this where, again, like, oh my God, I'm really feeling this reading. Like in Cruella, right? She's always wanted to be in the fashion industry. It's funny because I did actually work as a visual merchandiser doing window dressings. Yeah, so she kind of gets a lucky break, doesn't she? She gets her, but then she thinks it's a lucky break and then she's like being used. I don't know, there's a lot of stuff coming through it. I don't know if you need to go and watch the film Cruella. Yeah, so this, again, with the Libra energy, Two of Pentacles is quite Libra because it's balancing, it's weighing something up, it's making a decision. You've got the weighing scales here again with the Libra energy. Now the Six of Pentacles says somebody's in a position of charity, you know, where they need that handout, right? They're in a state of lack, where somebody else is in a position of wealth or prosperity or abundance, and they're in a position to give. So it is a card about being charitable and about balancing the scales. You know, have you given too much in one area of your life and neglected another? Do you need to readjust this in some sort of way? So interesting. Black Swan energy. So Black Swan energy, of course, is like, again, this idea of like your alter ego, your anima or animus, or your shadow, if you want to talk about Jung again, all this Jungian philosophy of like the persona that we present to the world. You know, who have we been taught to be? You know, are we taught to, you know, little girls should be seen and not heard? I was taught that. Are we taught that we should, you know, not speak until we're spoken to? Are we told that we should, you know, be polite, be helpful, be like Cinderella, right? And Cinderella has a lot of really, really lovely qualities that I think people see as faults. It's not a fault to be kind. It's not a fault to take care of, you know, your friends and family. It's not a fault to dream and wish for something, and it's not a fault to feel powerless and to dream that a handsome prince is going to come along and sweep you off your feet, and to fantasize. None of these things are wrong. You know, Cinderella's an actual beautiful character, but she's, if we move this into the Cruella, right, and having that, because she's taught, from what I understand from watching clips of the movie, I've not seen the whole movie, as a little girl, you know, her mum's teaching her to be kind and to be hardworking and to be you know, a valuable member of society. And then eventually she strips that all away and becomes, you know, this kind of black swan character who's, no, do you know what, I'm going to be the other person for a while now. And Libra has been getting this. Libra has been, I'll be the bad guy, I am what you made me, you know, all this kind of stuff. So, I don't know, it feels like you being honest with yourself, and you deserve sugar, not salt. So it's like, it feels like you're cutting an umbilical cord here with something. Again, it could be a workplace that's taking you for granted. It could be a parent figure. It could be your own, the way you parent yourself, right? It could be an old persona that's no longer fit for purpose, and you recognize this through having some period of growth, right? Through outgrowing some kind of environment that has kept you small and experiencing the world outside of that environment and being like, I've grown so much that I no longer fit back into that old situation. I can't do that anymore. I can't be that person anymore. It's not who I am anymore, right? I've evolved from that. Well, the Seven of Pentacles is a card about, it's interesting, we've got the 2 into the 6 into the 7, so I do see an opportunity for financial growth for you. The Seven of Pentacles is like, slow and steady wins the race. I recognize that to achieve my goals, I need to put in hard work. I need to do step 1, I need to do step 2, I need to do step 3. So it is goal based. It is talking about a time span. Again, there's like 2 clocks here. So where have you been spending your time? Have you been spending your time wisely? Do you need to rebalance your time, your efforts in a way that is more streamlined and productive, where there's more of an end goal rather than a scattergun approach? I really feel like I'm being called out in this reading. I've had enough of it. All right, I'm going to leave it there. I hope this was helpful to you. It's very interesting. Take care of yourselves as always, and I'll see you again soon. That was an hour-long reading. They're meant to be 30 minutes. Okay, take care. Bye.